The Lord's Prayer. Father, forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Romans 8:28. All things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. There's so many promises in the Bible, and on this journey, forgiveness, not being angry or hurt, has been really, really big for me because, we all want to be forgiven. We want God's blessings. So we have to forgive others. And when you've been betrayed and lied about, it hurts, especially when you love the person that has done it. And I believe in God's promises. He says, ask what you will, your prayer shall be granted. That's from an old hymn, but it's a paraphrase of promises, that were made in the Bible. Jesus says, ask whatever you will in my name, and your Father in heaven will hear you, and he will answer. Of course, your heart motive has to be right. And I really do believe in that. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however, it's working out for good in ways that I do see, in ways I've yet to see, about the situations with my husband, the wounded warrior, and the widow, me, who loved him. And I know at the end of his life, he kept saying things. He would say, are we good? Are we good? And I'm like, we're working on it. I said, don't worry about it. I love you. I'm here for you. I'll take care of you. And I will deal with all this other stuff when you're home with God. Because he definitely saw the error of his ways. And, it's a heck of a thing to die with a lot of regret. But he's the one that started us making all these videos. Really. I know I had made some before. I just think that what we go through, God's always impressing me. LLOL, live life out loud. Being an Aspie, I'll stay in my world and hide. But there's things, that I think one of the things that makes it worth going through is to hopefully try to help somebody else. And I'm not terribly great at personal, I'm not real social, so video works, right? So part of the proof is these papers that are actually printouts of emails under a sent email, one of my husband's emails. And these were during the time he was on hospice, which is really an intense school of training for the both of us. Him learning to be honest, and it's really cool because he would often say, and you'll hear some of it in here. Some of it really doesn't make a lot of sense. He was on a lot of medications. He'd have moments of clarity, and then just moments where he couldn't put things together in his mind. He was on a massive amount of pain medication, which more than the average bear, just being him, and then also having been, by his standard, by what he said, an addict for alcohol and pain medications for a number of years, quite a few. Anyway, and I don't know, one of my prayers has been, God, I don't want to feel this hurt, and I don't, it's like white hot electric not really electric, yeah, white hot lava anger, or white hot burning hurt and ooh, just bad feelings. You don't want to feel that. So for me, that's when I know that I'm at the end of the journey in a forgiveness process, when I don't feel that, where your face flushes and you can feel your blood pressure go up and your heart rate quickens when you talk about it. For instance, I can talk about my ex-husband, my first ex, and the fact that he murdered our daughter. And I don't feel that anymore. So, that's kind of, you got that where you've gotten to that forgiveness part, and just completely, it's in God's hands. And when you can talk about things like facts and they don't hurt you, that's when I know that I've gotten there. And I have been struggling with that with Mark and um, the woman that he cheated with, his fellow adulterer. And I've just been struggling. Well, for me, it happened finally, and it was really weird because it was these emails that I found in the sent file. I was looking for something. Oh yeah, the VA. I was messaging something, and I don't know. I'm trying to find it. Looking sent, and so I was getting ready to clean stuff out, and here I found all these things. So I read them. Well, one isn't so great. I mean, and I printed them all because I don't know. Mark was in a tell-all, so I'm just going to continue it. Um, it was right there. It was from a tire and brake place. It was sent to Mark, but it was for Donna. It's Donna, your 2015 Acura ILX is due for a synthetic oil change, $10 savings inside, and it gives the location. And that was in July 4th of 2022 when it hit his email. That was not a good day when I found that out, because he was still trying to tell me, I don't know what he's trying to tell me, but, it hurts. When you're a wife and, yeah, you hurt. Then, oh, on Wednesday, August 3rd, I sent an email to Dr. Rasmussen, Dr. Paul Rasmussen. I won't give his full address, but it was va.gov. And this was Mark's psychologist. Gotta get that right. Yeah, psychologist. And Mark had been going to him for a number of years. Well, there was one, and then there was a new one. It's quite a while. I don't know. I lose track of time. And once he went on hospice, then finally I was able to get in on the meetings, and these were tele meetings, because this was still at the tail end of the C-19 thing, the COVID crisis. And I had been going to, Dr. Rasmussen wanted me to come in. Well, Mark wanted me to be in on the televisits, therapy sessions, because by August, of course, I already knew everything. And he was wanting to work on our marriage. I was wanting him to work on spiritual health, but he wanted to work on our relationship and be forthcoming. And so anyway, this is about that. It's just this is Mark's wife. I wrote to him, wanted to update you via email, because I don't feel comfortable talking during Mark's upcoming appointment this Friday, the 5th of August. So currently, things are calm, but this past Thursday through Sunday, Mark was in some kind of way that ended up him somehow over at the neighbors' homes twice, telling him that, quote, he needed help because he was sick, and the boys and I weren't helping him. We were hurting him, going to hurt him, going to kill him, throwing bottles at him, plotting to put him in a box and kill him. That's what we heard and was told. I don't know what exactly was told to the first neighbor, just that he ended up going to Dorn And then I got called, and then calls from the social worker late at night. Then called to come and get him the next morning. He tested positive again for COVID, which was Friday, I believe. Days run together since he's been on round-the-clock meds every 2 hours. Saturday morning, a police officer showed up at the door because Mark's dad couldn't reach him. Then on Monday, I get a phone call from DSS as there was concern for his safety and are coming out to talk to Mark and about the open case he has at Dorn, ? They called back and said they'd have to come back next week because of his positive test. He doesn't want to talk about this anymore, any of this at all, as he says it's too much and he can't deal with the past anymore. I'm not sure what all is going on in his head, but I know there's something akin to guilt and definitely fear of death, as he said at one point that if he kept on the move, death couldn't find him. The hospice doctor did up his anxiety meds on the first, which made him much calmer. The nurse said that she has never before had a patient on as much pain medication as Mark, that was able to function. If you bring any of this up with him, it's much different than me talking about it, because if I say anything about anything to do with any of this, he gets worked up, and I just want some peace. I've always thought it was more important to talk about his declining health condition instead of our relationship. I also cannot say anything about how he shouldn't be trying to walk, because that also upsets him. The boys and I had our bi-monthly appointments with our therapist. On Tuesday, 2nd of August, my therapist helped bring me back to center and out of panic / PTSD reactive mode. She's Bible-based, and she also did EMDR. Thank you again, and I signed my name. Yeah, that's a whole other road, but these are just the letters in the sent mail that I found. So, and on Thursday, August 11th, Mark told Dr. Rasmussen, please cancel my appointment. Thank you. I don't really remember what that was about. But I'd also been accused of not allowing Mark to have access to a computer and, was making his life miserable and stuff. I'll address that in a minute, because for some reason these following emails just really, I don't know, it click. I learned slow but catch on quick, and sometimes I have difficulty processing. That's part of being autistic, for me, and it takes me a long time to sometimes grasp things. I know the knowledge, but to get it till the light bulb goes on. Anyway, on Tuesday, September 13th of 2022, Mark wrote, Dr. Paul needs some assistant. Family talk, please call when you can. That's kind of like that. I kind of read it in the way that he wrote it. I try to make some things make more, coded out. Thursday, September 15th. He wrote these are all to Dr. Rasmussen. How do I handle what I don't remember doing? Donna just cleaned out our savings account, and Tammy says it's my fault. How do I handle this? I'm trying to talk to my bio sons the truth, but it makes me look really bad. Tammy gave me my phone, and he says the number, but it's not typed correctly, or hers, and he did get that right. I'm just trying to fix things before I die, and he signed his name. Well, the phone number's not written correctly, so anyway. Then on September 15th, again, this one was sent at 12:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then on Thursday, September 15th at 2:58 p.m., need help. This was the game changer for me. I don't know why, and maybe nobody else can read it, but God answers when I said, God, I want to forgive. I want this over. I want these feelings over. I want to remember the good stuff. but use the bad stuff to help others, you know. But I don't like feeling angry. I hate it. I hate feeling angry. Anyway, Thursday, September 15th, 2022, 2:58 p.m. Dr. Rasmussen. It's a .gov. Need help. Why do I act like Tammy is a liar like me? Why do I make sure everyone ahead of me knows she is a convicted AA felon, convicted as a felon? I'm not sure what he meant, but stupid, S-H-I-T, sugar honey S-T, stupid is that she's not. It's because of me. And and now some of this I don't know. And the moment, I'll read exactly what's written because I don't understand. That little bitch, that little bitch tried to pull me in on a safe place for women. Okay, I don't know. I know Tammy is willing, but cannot do it without you since you control all, says but I think he meant our finances. We have heard Donna has control. What's the going on? Probably meant what's the H going on. But the part that got me, why do I act like Tammy is a liar like me? Why do I make sure everyone ahead of me knows she is a convicted something felon? Stupid shit is that she's not. It's because of me. That, like I said, if I knew it, I forgot it. I mean, again, I was giving him meds every 2 hours at this point, because he was had been having another pain flare. Anyway, I mean, during this time he's at every 2, 4, 6, and 12 hours or something. I don't know the meds. Again, I have to look at my diary, but just that little simple thing made me realize, oh my dear God, I just don't know. Light bulb went on, and I realized that all the people that I was feeling hurt by, his family, Donna, because in September of 2021, he had been home. He was fiending for drugs. Donna had been messaging him, and he raised hell here. He attacked our son, the dog, me, and he was arrested. And he called the police, and they came, and in his mind, and I didn't let the boys clean anything up. I said, just leave everything, because he kept telling me, I'm going to call the police on you. I'm going to call the police on you. Okay, because he wanted to take his medications, and he said he was going to go kill himself. No, I'm not letting you do that. You're not taking your pain medications, because he's overdosed before. Anyway, they came in, and it was a young guy, the sheriff that was the first one that came, and he talked to Mark, and then he came in, and I just went to the door and I said, please, when you're done, because he said, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. I said, we're okay, and we said, okay, but we want you to come in, please, not just talk at the door. And he said, okay. And I said, listen, because I was seriously afraid he was going to do something to me again. And I said, I just want you to see what's going on, And he did, and then he talked to the boys. And that was the time when he went after Mark. And it was for this reason that I didn't, because when he went after Samuel, it was then, was he 18? Yeah, that was in March. No, maybe he was 17. He was 17. And 17? Whatever. I don't know, I'm having to do math right now. Anyway, he was 17, 18, and he was he's our Aspie son, high functioning autism. And Samuel is not a violent person, but he stood up for me and Mark was yelling and screaming at me, and there had been a little physical, and he just finally said, he told Mark to stop acting like, and he used Mark's words, and this is not my son, but he was defending us, and it was after he'd hit Kalua with a flagpole that broke, wooden one, and he says, he said to him, Mark, stop acting like a CUNT. And now this is a man that was using a cane, and he, like, when I say, he moved way quicker than we anticipated, and he got over to Samuel before I did, screaming in his face. And the words that, in addition to everything, I mean, he is spitting in his face, daring him to hit him. And then he says, and I got in between them, and I pushed Mark away, and because Mark had raised his hand, and I just, Samuel, and I saw the look on my son's face, and it was terror. And I just, I was really scared he was going to hit him, so I got in between him and hit Mark in the chest to move back. I don't know how I got in between him, but he said, well, you're nothing but a effing no good effing fag. Wait a minute. There was a GD in there somewhere. No good GD effing fag. And that now the mama bear is out, and I just kept telling him to get out, and of course he's throwing things around as he's on his way. And then he went into the bedroom, calling me all kinds of things. I'll leave as soon as I get my meds. And I said, no, just go and calm down and come back. Because rages were part of what Mark did. But that crossed the line when he went after Samuel, hitting the dog and then going after Samuel. And at that point, Mama Bear's galvanized. So I'm just like, boys, don't. When then Mark left and he called me and said, I'm calling the police. Okay, call the police, I'm mad, and you're going to call the police on us. Well, you just went after our son, and there was no excuse for that. Absolutely none. Or hitting the dog. His violence at that point had got scary because, A, he wasn't hiding, yelling at me anymore. It was right out in the open. And B, to hit the dog with a flagpole that busted it over. Thank God she's a big dog. And then going after Samuel. That was insane. None of it, and it was completely unprovoked. 100% PTSD, dude. Whatever. So he got himself arrested. And I'm like, I could not figure out why. And I did not fight them on what they did. And it came down to he was convicted. And it was his second domestic violence charge. Now they pleaded it down to only domestic violence 2 to get him convicted, and anyway, so that made me feel like he had been telling everybody that I was the one that was doing these things. That because he kept telling everybody I was, a drunk and a druggie and probably physically violent and abusive. He was. And that made sense. I'm thinking, okay, so now Donna shouldn't have done what she did. You don't ever pursue a married man. You just don't. When they tell you you're married, I don't know. But of course, Mark spun it. And his family, so it does make sense when I'm getting publicly berated and nobody acts like they trust me. Okay, I get it. I get it. I was the convicted felon. Did anybody check this out? Probably not. And I have all the papers. I have at least 10 to 12 left police reports about Mark's violence from the neighborhood. And then on September 27th of 2022, I think the last one to Dr. Rasmussen that was in the scent fire, it says, I screwed up another lie. Don't. I think it meant don't. It says don't Don what to Todd, but I think it means don't know what to do. So anyway, sharing those because that was Mark. He wanted to share his things. I did not expect to make another video on the wounded warrior and the Aspian widow who loves him, or whatever it is. But just showing that God answers our prayers, and He knows us so much that even a silly little sentence like that, I don't know, it made sense, right? How can He be angry when everybody probably thought, He's telling everybody I'm the monster. He got arrested, but what was He telling everybody? That I did it? That's what He told me anyway. He says, I didn't tell him. I didn't tell people that, I told them, you tried to get me in trouble for what you did. Okay. But one of the things is one of the talks that we had, I think it was maybe in October. He died the end of November. And he had moments, right? And I just said, how does it feel? He goes, bad. And I said, well, bad. Okay, so it's not fun telling the truth. Because like you said, I tried to talk to my bio son, to tell him the truth, but it makes me look really bad. Well, you did really bad things, And he said, that doesn't feel good. I said, and there is a note he wrote or something. He said, I feel so light. He feels so light. He just didn't know he could feel relief, And I said, see, Mark, you tell the truth and the world doesn't end. It didn't kill you to tell the truth. And he gained respect. And it was really cool because just after I read that, the youngest one, who is 14, will be turning 15 soon, was talking on the phone with one of his buddies. And we had just been to the shooting range. He got to shoot for the first time, and he was all excited. And I have Mark's guns. And I said, yeah, these will be yours. Oh, hi, Kitty. She's dropping in. Hi, Panda Cat. And he said to his buddy, he said, yeah, look, he said, this is my dad's gun. And Mom said, I get to have it. That's the first time he'd used the word dad, talking about Mark, in a long time, a year or two. So that was really good because we've been talking a lot about things. And during the hospice time, Nemo was the one, our youngest, would come and sit and watch shows with him more often than Samuel would. So that's just really cool to getting to take care of Mark and have him home and have him tell the truth and to show that he was really, had a change of heart, preparing to die, that he wanted to do things the way God wanted him to, and really was actively trying to tell the truth. And see, those are messages I didn't know he'd sent. And it was on his computer, on his email. So God answers. And He will answer in ways that are unique to each of us, So God's amazing. And according to Mark's wishes, I'm sharing. Hopefully, it'll help somebody somewhere sometime. Okay. Be blessed.